Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got a bunch of Steelers news and rumors to cover for you guys right here on Steelers Talk. First up, we're going to be talking about some good news on the injury front for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin hit the podium today, and he gave some good news on guys like TJ Watt, George Pickens, and others on this football team. Then we'll talk a little bit about the rumor floating around that the Steelers should maybe sign Odell Beckham Jr. He is officially a free agent now, and after that debacle versus the Eagles offensively and George Pickens potentially not being able to play versus Baltimore, should the Steelers consider bringing in OBJ? I'll give you guys my answer later in today's show, and then we'll finish up today's show with one of the most idiotic statements I have ever seen anybody on national television make in ESPN's Rex Ryan. He made a stupid claim on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make sure you guys stick around to see what Rex the Idiot had to say later in today's show. Now, before we get into the content here, make sure you guys go give me a follow on X if you haven't already. You guys can find me at Jack_Sperry. I put out my weekly NFL power rankings, my quarterback index, and I also put out daily Steelers updates on there every single day as well. So make sure you go follow me on there. And then make sure you follow Steelers Talk on IG. We put out short form Steelers content on IG outside of this YouTube channel. So if you want extra Steelers content from us here at Steelers Talk on Instagram, you guys can follow us at SteelersCS. So some good news on the injury front here, and we talked a little bit about it on the post-game reaction and a little bit in this morning's video. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. But head coach Mike Tomlin took the podium earlier today, and he said that he's quote-unquote optimistic about TJ Watt's chances of playing this Saturday versus the Baltimore Ravens. He said that he was looking quote-unquote comfortable walking around the facility, and people inside the Steelers building today are starting to kind of lean towards Watt being able to play against the Ravens on Saturday afternoon. And Tomlin said that healthy people are going to play versus the Ravens this week. And of course, healthy people, that's the type of term that Mike Tomlin likes to use. But we got guys like George Pickens right now questionable still with the hamstring. You got Deshaun Elliott still questionable with his hamstring. Larry Ogunjobi with the groin, and Diontae Johnson with the back injury. So right now you got 5 starters that are currently questionable for the Steelers. And Mike Tomlin said, hey man, we're trying to win the division now. We understand that a win on Saturday locks up the division in a home playoff game for us. So all the healthy players that they have available and can go, they're going to go on Saturday. All right. So that's definitely good news if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan here. And when it comes to Diontae Johnson in particular here, we did see James Pierre come in, and we've seen Pierre come in multiple times this year when Jackson has left with injuries during games. And Tomlin said that he's quote unquote comfortable with the backup cornerback options on this team if Diontae Johnson is not able to give it a go on Saturday with that back injury that he left Sunday's game with. So let me know down there in the comments section, between the outside cornerback options at the Steelers' disposal here, which guy should get the start opposite of Joey Porter Jr. if Diontae Johnson can't go. Type JP if you think James Pierre should be the guy, or if you think Corey Trice Jr., who's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks, guys, should get the start here. Type CT down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, let me know who you think should be CB2 if D-Jack can't give it a go. Some more good news on the injury front here, or at least in terms of potentially getting a win versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day. Patrick Mahomes suffered a mild high ankle sprain in yesterday's win versus the Cleveland Browns, and it's certainly looking like he potentially won't play this weekend against the Houston Texans when Kansas City plays Houston on Saturday. But listen, man, even if Mahomes ends up playing on Christmas Day versus the Steelers, you have to assume that his mobility is going to be decreased with that high ankle sprain, and that could definitely play a major factor in this game between the Steelers and the Chiefs. And listen, man, if the Steelers lose against Baltimore on Saturday here, that Christmas Day game becomes extremely important for Pittsburgh to win. So if it comes down to it here, I think that, hopefully TJ Watt's going to be good to go by then. But if not, you got Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig attacking the Kansas City Chiefs with 2 very bad offensive tackles going up against a decreased mobility Patrick Mahomes. I kind of like that recipe for success for Pittsburgh, so this is a big injury if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So coming up here, should the Pittsburgh Steelers sign Odell Beckham Jr.? He is officially back on the open market. Could you see him in black and gold? I'm going to give you guys my answer to that question here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. And what that means is that when you bring people together for live events, and the experience is just that much better during the holiday season. And guys, if you still need to get a last-minute gift for somebody in your life that loves sports or wants to go to a sporting event or any other live event for that matter, Game Time is the perfect place to get a last-minute Christmas gift for the person in your life you still need to get a gift for. So Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. So it makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing sites. All you guys have to do is go onto the Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, and then you select the Game Time Picks filter at the top of the screen, and the app automatically filters through every single ticket in their database to find you the best tickets with the best deals for you and your family, so you're always paying the lowest possible price for great seats. What I love about the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, so it's the only ticketing app you really need on your phone. You also get all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets if you procrastinate and wait till the last second to get your tickets for an event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's just for that first purchase, guys. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So Odell Beckham Jr. is officially a free agent after clearing waivers after the Miami Dolphins released him a couple days back. And now there's some people in Steelers Nation that are suggesting that with Van Jefferson and Mike Williams and Calvin Austin III not really getting the job done with George Pickens out, that they should go out and get the former All-Pro wide receiver. Well, right now, OBJ is 32 years old. I know, man, time flies with this guy, man, but he's 5'11", 200 pounds, so he's still got a decent amount of size. He's kind of a middle range kind of size receiver, but he's had a number of lower body injuries, multiple ligament tears in his knee. It's definitely not looking good in that regard, and for somebody that's aging, you can definitely tell on film that this guy doesn't have nearly the level of explosiveness that he even had maybe even just a year ago, and he just wasn't very productive with the Miami Dolphins in his time there in South Beach. You take a look here at the last 4 years for Mr. Odell Beckham. This year, just 9 catches for 55 yards and no touchdowns. Last year, as kind of a rotational piece there with the Baltimore Ravens, he had 35 catches and 3 touchdowns. Did not play in 2022 because of a torn ACL. And then in 2021, he helped the Rams quite a bit on their Super Bowl run, though. Coming full circle there. He is a Super Bowl champion. Technically, he had a touchdown catch in that Super Bowl for the LA Rams. But listen, man, my take on this whole OBJ situation is I guess it can't hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I certainly can't say with certainty, based on what I've seen on his film this year, that he's going to add anything past what Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, and the other guys in this wide receiver room are going to provide. With George Pickens out of the lineup here, I think Calvin Austin III is really the only guy that can consistently separation in terms of his route running. Van Jefferson has been pretty much useless as a wide receiver this year, unless there's like a coverage bust or, a rotating coverage leaves him wide open. He's not getting open, plain and simply. Then Mike Williams has been very quiet since the Steelers traded for him because teams are kind of playing off coverage against him. And, Russell Wilson doesn't really like to throw it up when he doesn't have good leverage on those deep balls. So plain and simply, guys, Odell Beckham Jr., no Odell Beckham Jr., it doesn't really matter to me, guys. The Steelers need George Pickens back, period. This is the dynamic threat that the Steelers have. There is no more dynamic wide receivers available on the open market, obviously via trade because we're past the trade deadline, but also on the free agency market. This is the guy right here that is the key to the Steelers' offensive success. He is the most valuable offensive player on the Steelers right now, bar none, and that includes Russell Wilson, by the way. I think GP is absolutely the guy that the Steelers need to get back, and they need to do whatever they can to have this guy healthy for the postseason to give them a shot to win. So if you be the GM for me down there in the comments section, Would you bring in OBJ? Type S for sign or type P for pass? I mean, my thinking on this, guys, is, hey, it can't be worse than Van Jefferson, right? But, I mean, I just don't think it's going to move the needle all that much. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We have daily videos covering the Pittsburgh Steelers for you guys right here on the channel. Breaking news coverage this offseason whenever the Steelers make a big move. Hey, if they sign Odell Beckham Jr., we're probably going to be going live for that, okay? Make sure you guys click that subscribe button, guys, because it's all 100% free. And we just passed over 71,000 subscribers yesterday, so thank you guys so much for all of your support. So now let's finish up with a little bit of fun roasting here because Rex Ryan is an idiot, plain and simply, guys. He went on Get Up today after the Steelers lost versus Philly, and he said that after all the success that the Steelers have had with Russell Wilson at quarterback this year, that not only should Steelers fans panic after losing to arguably the best team in football on the road when they had a bunch of injuries, but that they should panic and go to Justin Fields at quarterback. This is what Ryan had to say earlier today on ESPN. They're not as good as their record says they are. I mean, they really aren't. Tomlin's a great coach, don't get me wrong, but ever since Russ took over, this is why I like Justin Fields better. The impact that Russ has had on the rushing game, they're absolutely atrocious running the football now. But somebody better tell Rex Ryan here that Justin Fields in there only added 8 rushing yards per game. All right, so that's not that much. So the run game is pretty much around the same as it was when Justin Fields was the quarterback. And by the way, this is including Fields' rushing production. So it's actually not adding all that much, in my opinion. But when you look at Russell Wilson and the impact that he has had on the passing game, and it is astronomical, the passing yards per game. And by the way, that includes yesterday's debacle versus the Eagles. They're still averaging about, 60 more yards per game with Russell Wilson at quarterback passing the football? I mean, Rex Ryan is just pulling this out of his ass. He's not looking at the stats. He's not looking at the film. He's just going based on vibes. And it's like, all right. And then he goes on TV, he gives his take, and he says, okay, let's go have a snack. That's not the right way to that's not the right way to analyze NFL football. And it's an absolute lazy take by Rex Ryan that he should be absolutely humiliated by. Now, before I go here, one last item to cover with you guys. It's kind of a funny one here because, of course, the Steelers traded Diontae Johnson away. You know, a lot of people said that the Steelers got fleeced in that deal. But not only did the Carolina Panthers trade him away within the same season, but now it seems like he's going to be cut loose from another football team here, and it's the Baltimore Ravens who gave up a 5th-round draft pick for him here. The Ravens and Diontae have agreed to not have Diontae be a part of team activities, which is absolutely hilarious. Here's the statement that the Baltimore Ravens put out earlier today. It says, we have mutually agreed with Diontae Johnson to excuse him from team activities this week. And by the way, that probably means, guys, he is going to hit the open market sooner rather than later. And no, I don't think the Steelers should bring him back. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors, but we got more great Steelers coverage coming your way tomorrow. So to never miss any of our coverage, click that subscribe button right now.